Okay, you will see Colleen Cronjes. She is the CEO Director of Brainline. Adele, which I'm sure she will put on her camera shortly. Adele Drent, she is our high school coordinator for grade 8 to 12. And then Gerda Remit, she is our junior school coordinator from grade R to 7. Now, how the session works is you will see that there is a Q&A section where you can ask your questions during the sessions that we'll answer. And there's also a chat functionality where you're also available and you may chat and we'll answer from the panelist side. So yes, I see the first questions have come up already. I'm just going to stop my screen sharing. And then I think what we can do is, Adele, from a high school perspective, if you can share some insight with us to the high school and how, if parents join during this time with Brainline before cycle 3, how it would work and when the classes start.
Hi, everybody. With regards to the high school, our classes will commence again on the 13th of July. And these are live classes that's been scheduled on a timetable. Timetable is already available to all teachers, and teachers will then have a live contact session during those times with grade 8 to 12 students. We do have the classes being recorded and loaded onto our system for later view. So if a student is not able to do the live classes, they can also look at the recordings afterwards. We please just want everybody to note that our classes does not cover the whole curriculum as set out in the CAPS document. We do, however, select certain topics from the curriculum that we think from experience that will be asked and assessed during assessments, as well as topics that students normally struggle with. So it does, there is a responsibility on the student to work through the whole CAPS curriculum on its own time, and then ask if needed, if there's some place that they struggle with. Rosie, is there anything else? Oh, maybe I can add our lessons are 45 minutes, which includes the introduction, normal Q&A session, and then covering off the specific topic that the teacher wants to do. And then also in some of the subjects, we do recommend students to go to the textbook and exercise a little bit, or we can give them something to come back with feedback. So we'd like students to come to classes prepared, seeing that this is only an extra resource and not just delivering of content.
Thank you, Adele. And I see Gordon asked, which also ties into that, will we get a roster regarding the lessons?
Yes, the timetable, as I said, is available already for cycle 3. We start on the 13th of July. Some of the subjects only have one contact session a week. Some of them have 2 or 3 sessions a week. We try to accommodate grade 12s with 3 lessons a week. Our classes are for the lower grades are separate Afrikaans and English classes, but as we tend to go to the higher grades, we try to mix the 2 languages in a class. Teachers are aware of students that can't communicate in one of the 2, but seeing that you need both languages as a matric entry, you must be able to talk in both languages. So what the teacher do is they repeat important information like definitions as such in both languages. So ons het beide tale wat ons aanbied in ons vakke op graad 8 en 9 vlak, en meeste van die graad 10 en 11 vlakke vakke word definitief gesplit, Afrikaans en Engels, maar as ons by graad 12 kom, as gevolg van die vol rooster wat ons volg, is die klasse gemeng in Afrikaans en Engels, maar beide die instruksietale word wel aangebied. Okay, Rosie?
Thank you, Dan and Colleen. There are a few that you marked, and I think the good one to start off with is the question from Yaz. We asked, is this recognized by the Department of Education?
Yes, I picked a few nice ones for me. Could somebody just allow me to share my screen? And I'd like to answer a few questions by going on to Brainline and demonstrating a few aspects, such as not only that, but how do I upload orals and assignments and everything else that goes with that. But I need somebody just to please enable me to screen share.
Okay, you should be able to.
Good, right. I hope you're able to see my screen where at the top it says grade 10 mathematics. So let's start with the most pertinent one, or one of the most important ones at the top of the screen. Vanessa asked, or Riaz has asked, is this recognized by the Department of Education? Riaz, that depends on how do you look at that, and that's not being evasive. Currently in South Africa, none of the distance education providers are able to register as a distance education entity. So we are accredited via the exam board with whom we are registered, and Brainline is registered with the IEB, the Independent Examination Board. So all matriculants, all grade 12s, right through us ends up getting their normal national senior certificate fully recognized by all universities in South Africa, and we are very proud of that. If you look at registration for other grades, grade 9 and down, then you will see if you register with the Department of Education and you mention Brainline as being your service provider, they already know, but you can also fill it in, that we use the revised national curriculum statement. In other words, we follow the CAPS curriculum, then that is fully recognized by the Department of Education, and we are also fully compliant with regard to tasks, tests, and exams with the CAPS curriculum. So you can offer that as being your provider of choice with confidence, knowing that it will be accepted everywhere. That also ties in with, will my child be able to go to a normal school? Yes, with confidence, you'll be able to offer your report as issued by Brainline, and you should be able to seamlessly go back to school. Not only during lockdown, which we know will be the essence, but also later on 2021 and going forward. And that we are very proud of as well. Chantal is asking, how do we upload orals and assignments? Chantal, if you look at my screen, you will see grade 10 mathematics, but the principle remains the same. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm on the profile of a student here, and this is what our learner management system looks like. And you will see, Chantal, yours would look almost the same or very similar. Now, if you go to Afrikaans first additional language, say for instance, this as an example, and you look at all of the stuff that you will find under Afrikaans, you will find everything here. Now, under cycle 1, let's see if we can quickly find an oral, task 1, cycle 2, there might be one, there might not be one. But whilst I'm here, let's use this as an example. For instance, uploading an assignment. Chantal, hier is byvoorbeeld cyklus 2 taak 3 se aflaaiskakel. So this is where you will find the task, and if you open the task, you will find that it is a normal PDF file, and you should be able to see the PDF file right here. This is of course fully printable. There's the instructions, daar's die instruksies, en dit is alles wat jy gaan voltooi, en gewoonlik kry jy 'n antwoordboek daarby, Chantal. So you should be able, doesn't matter which grade you are at, whether it's the smaller grades, if there's a task available there, this is probably what that tasks look like. Gerda, miskien kan jy later net miskien bylas by my graad 6 as daar iets is wat jy nou hier op die skerm sien, wat dalk anders is wat jy dalk wil uitwys vir graad 6. But normally this is what your task looks like, and that's where you'll be able to download it. When you are ready, having done that task, this is where you'll be able to upload it, and this is what your upload link looks like. Now, this particular student has already uploaded their file, and they've already been marked, and this is where their marked file is given back to them. So Chantal, ek dink dit gee vir jou 'n idee van waar jy kan aflaai en waar jy weer kan oplaai. Al die skakels lyk min of meer dieselfde. Kom ons gaan kyk of daar dalk 'n mondeling is, en as ek wil uitvind, is daar 'n mondeling, dan kan ek sommer gou-gou gaan kyk. Op die skedule, is daar 'n mondeling? Dit gee my boeke vir my, dit sê vir my wat gaan ek moet lees, dit sê vir my watter literatuur gaan ek doen in siklus 1, en daar is die take, daar's 'n voorbereide lees, daar's die tydstoekenning, hierdie taak sal so gou as moontlik beskikbaar gestel word. Kom ons kyk, taak 2, ek sien nie vinnige mondeling hier nie, so graad 10 gaan nie noodwendig 'n mondeling hê nie. Chantal, om jou te antwoord, die oplaaiskakel en die aflaaiskakel gaan presies dieselfde lyk. Dit gaan bloot net sê mondeling. Die instruksie gaan jy kry by die aflaaiskakel en jou taakie wat jy gaan oplaai as 'n audiofile, met ander woorde 'n .mp3 file, gaan jy dan oplaai by die oplaaiskakel, presies soos wat ek jou gewys het, en dit lyk baie dieselfde. Gerda, miskien kan jy vir Chantal antwoord. How do we do orals and what do we require for grade 6? Are there any orals for grade 6, Gerda?
Good morning, yes, or rather good afternoon. Yes, we have orals for grade 4 to, actually for grade 3 to grade 7. We have prepared reading, unprepared reading, and then also oral. We give them a topic to speak, something to speak about. So the layout is exactly the same as in the high school, and the link where you download and upload the task will be, it will state oral or reading. So it's, as Colleen showed, it's exactly the same. You download the task, and you take a video of the orals, and you also upload the video of the learner for us to be able to mark the videos. And then you get feedback as well. We complete the rubric, and then we upload that again for you to be able to see. That's the same for tasks, other tasks and tests, for you to see where the learner lost marks, how can you assist in the weak points they have. Also, we also give you the memos, so you can compare the marked task or test to the memo and see how the learner did. You are also able to send an email should you have any queries about how it was marked, and we can have a look at it again. And I saw there's one about cursive writing. We do not require a learner to write cursive or print. However, it's good for a learner to be able to write both and to learn the cursive writing, because some learners, they prefer a specific kind of writing. However, we do not, we give a mark in grade 1, 2, and 3, and then for handwriting, and then we ask them to do a specific writing. But they are not penalized should they not, should they struggle with writing a specific kind of writing, cursive or print. So that's that one. And then we have tasks and tests in cycle 1, 2, and 3 for grade 4 to 7. And then only a year-end exam in cycle 4. And for grade 1 to 3, we have a mid-year assessment and a final assessment. And that's basically the short and long of grade 1 to 7.
Thank you, Gerda. Mecha Kekana. Mecha, you should not be lost. Mecha, would you like to speak to us on audio and tell us about yourself and what grade your children are, so that we can completely and immediately help you, Mecha? Mecha raised her hand. Rosie, can we enable her to speak audibly?
Yes, I'm just looking for on the participants. There we go, Mecha. We should be able to listen to you now.
Hi there.
Hi, good morning. Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome.
Yes. Okay. When I spoke about getting lost, it's because you were addressing Chantal in Afrikaans. And obviously now I'm worried to say even the classes, the critical areas or important things will be taught in Afrikaans, and the other things will be referred to in English material. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when we applied, it was clear that we want the tutoring or the classes to be in English, so that the child's education is not compromised.
That's right, Mecha. Mostly we are in English. and we refer to Afrikaans. It's actually the other way around, or we do just Afrikaans or just English depending on the subject. For instance, our mathematics is purely in Afrikaans or purely in English, depending on how you enrolled with us. What grades are your children, Mecha?
Grade 9.
Grade 9. Then they will find. Adele, I'm going to leave it to you, and you can answer Mecha very well in that regard.
Yes, for grade 9 level, we have separate classes, Afrikaans and English. So you're not going to have Afrikaans in the class. Just take note that if a class is in mixed language, it does not mean that your child will get lost in class. And I'll explain that. So if the teacher, for instance, in history explained to you the involvement of Hitler, she will do it mainly in English, but then in the Afrikaans kids that's in the class, she will just repeat that in Afrikaans. So you'll never get lost anywhere. It's not as if we do some English, some Afrikaans, and you miss the concepts. So if there are Afrikaans kids in class, we speak in English and we explain, but then we repeat it in Afrikaans again to accommodate those learners as well. So I hope that's clear for you. But on grade 9 level, you can be assured that all our classes are separate. There's Afrikaans separate days and English separate days. So that there's no clashes.
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome, Mecha. So mostly we're speaking, even on those forums, we try to be bilingual. In other words, we start off in a language and then try to repeat in the other. But please feel free, put up your hand and we will repeat or explain as many times as you want. You should never be lost. That's not the aim of the game. You should also always be up to date and on par with whatever we offer you. Chantal says, thank you very much for answering. You're most welcome, Chantal. That's what we try to do. All right, let's see. Susan asks, are there any drama practicals for grade 10? Susan, there are no drama practicals for grade 10, but be prepared for the practicals in grade 12. That's quite important, especially in grade 12. You will need to come to one of our exam centers and probably to our Montana Center in Pretoria to do your practical. So be prepared to do that exactly for your grade 10. Let's see if there are any more that I picked for myself that I haven't answered. All right, Vanessa asks, will my son in grade 12 be able to use the same scribe during exams that he's been using since grade 10 when accommodations were given by the IB when at his previous school? Vanessa, that depends on where his school is at. You're most welcome to provide us with the reader or the scribe that you've used, their names and their contact details. If we approve him or her, and if he or she is able to travel to the center, probably Montana, then yes, we will enlist him or her as part of our scribes or readers. So yes, in advance, let us know who this person is so that we can see if this person is can be able to be part of our cohort of invigilators. But of course, remember, this person needs to be approved by us. All right, and then I've answered that one. How does the invigilation session work for test? Vanessa, again, that depends on which grade your child is at. Grade 12 final exams, all the invigilators are enlisted or recruited by us, and they are then at one of our 4 centers. So that is the cohort of invigilators, and they're also paid by us. Any of the other invigilators, we are rolling out a program where we make online virtual invigilators available, and that should start within the forthcoming, say, week 2 or 3 from now. So you're able then to choose an online virtual invigilator. But for the other test, tasks and exams, if you use somebody that you are well known with, somebody who does not reside with you, please remember to register that invigilator on your online Brain Online profile. Rosie, I think that's about all from me.
Thank you. Okay, Alicia van Heerden asked, do you have to travel to Pretoria? Are there any in Cape Town? Alicia, so we have branches or examination centers in Umhlanga, Woodmead and Stellenbosch, and then Montana. How do the outings and social events work? From Gordon. Okay, Gordon, so this year, mixed up those plans a bit for this year. We do have a matric dance every year for our grade 12s. And for the grade 4s to 11s, we have twice a year we have tours. And we had some tours for them planned this year that have obviously been postponed for next year. The other thing that I want to tell you about is our online Be Active sessions. And those sessions are every Tuesday and Friday, where it's open and free of charge for all the Brainline students. And it's a group of 4 coaches that interact with the students online with exercise. So it depends per age group, but that's twice a week. And we found that the sessions are between 30 and 40 students, and they really do enjoy it. So it's up to the student whether they put on the camera or they're shy and they put off the camera, but everyone participates and there's music. So even though we're in a digital environment, we do try to encourage that interactivity for all our students. Akulina, I think you said you wanted to add something to what I said on the social aspect.
I'm satisfied at this moment. I hope that in 2021 going forward, we will be able to pick up our social program again. But for this year, we try, as you said, Rosie, to allow our students to participate on a virtual platform as much as possible. We're not sure what 2021 is going to bring us, but we would like to strengthen our virtual platforms because we think strategically going forward that there will always be a marriage between virtual and physical. And whatever the situation is, we will always like to be pliable so that we can engage our learners, whatever the format is that we use.
Okay, thank you. Adele, if you want to jump in here, there are a few here. Sylvester Mangale asked, can learners interact during online live learning lessons? And there's a few others that tie into these schedules.
Yes, I've tagged a few that I want to answer. The first one, I'm going to start at the top, is about the catch-up. So due to the fact that most of the schools were closed from end of March onwards until now recently and still being phased in, Brainline didn't stop. We continued because we are on a virtual platform. So we do acknowledge that students are a little bit behind on the academic content. So what we do is we have a catch-up schedule for them. So students are being referred back to their textbook. They must please go to the textbook, check what work has not been done, and then try and fill the gaps. They can also use all the resources that's online and also the class recordings of previous lessons done. Once they've covered all the content that they need or that they missed during session cycle 1 and 2, they will be able to continue with us in cycle 3. So what we want students to do that enrolling now, they must use these 3 weeks that's left before the cycle start again to catch up on work that they have not done previously in their school. You will find that most of the schools are aligned. So what has been done in cycle 1, we've done also, with small adjustments done here and there. And also then with regards to the assessments, we do know that students missed some of the assessments in cycle 2, like examinations, etc. So we have a backup plan in place. Those assessments, and this is only applicable for grade 12 students because we need a portfolio for them by the end of September, starting of October. So there's still plenty of time to catch up on 1 or 2 tasks. And as you know, covering in the media that the IEB has decided to adapt the SBA mark for grade 12 students. So it's not necessary for them to complete the whole portfolio. There is a shortened version that we need to take in consideration, especially for students that's not on par with all the assessments being done. So there are processes in place, and we are here, and as well as our assessment division, that will help students to accumulate all those marks that they need. So there's no worry for any student. What we want you to focus on when you enroll now, late in the year, is to try and cover content to prepare for prelim examinations. When you are in a lower grade, that's not grade 12, we also suggest that you cover content that you have not done previously, and then you are ready for the final examinations at the end of November, end of the year. So assessments done for grade 8 up to 11, that's not part or that's not important, like a PET or a PET or orals, those you are exempted from, so meaning that your SBA mark will be calculated accordingly, and those students will not be affected in any way. And then someone else also asked about live interaction in the classes. You need to, and I think it also ties in with what Gordon asked about the schedule. You must remember that all students, like any normal kid, need a type of grid or a type of schedule, or they need a pattern to work on. And a rhythm. So if you break that rhythm, that's not going to be efficient for them for academic learning. So what we suggest, and what I also suggest to my students that's enrolling late now, is to keep on with your rhythm. Stand up early in the morning, start doing your homework, start doing schoolwork, exercise, go onto resources. Don't just do nothing. But if you're studying from home, and I think Colleen will agree with me here, and I've been practicing this with my kids as well, that you need some kind of plan for the day. You can't just jump in and do anything. You need a plan. But as you're working from home, you'll also realize that you're not fixed. It's movable. So you can adjust as your household fits best. And we also want to encourage students to keep on with academic exercise. Don't just wait for anything to happen. You need to exercise your mathematics and your science and your reading, etc. So you as a parent set those schedules at home. We don't have a first break and a second break, an academic administration period. We have a timetable. It starts at 8 o'clock in the morning and it stops at 4:45 in the afternoon. And it may be that the student will have 2 classes in the morning and then 1 later in the afternoon, but it's not fixed. And for you, from 8 o'clock until 2, like a normal school day. So you'll just go onto the link for where your classes for your subject is scheduled, and you'll attend that 40-minute session with the teacher. In your other time that you have during the day, you have to do self-study, you have to catch up on assessments if you need to, or you can go through work in the textbook. So the schedule is set on your own pace. You're not forced to complete the day like a normal school day when you are in brick and mortar school. So you attend live classes when it's scheduled on the timetable, and the rest of the day you must complete as you see fit in your household. So I hope that's clear, and maybe Colleen can add onto this later. There was another question also about social interaction with learners. Now, seeing that it's a live contact session, it means that students can ask, they can talk in the class. But please remember that this 40 minutes is like crucial contact academic session between a teacher who is the specialist in a subject and learners. So the learners may ask questions live, like Mecha has done now, or they can type in the chat box and the teacher can refer back to that and answer questions as follow. Or they can email the teacher, etc. But this is not a social interaction, if I can put it that way. It's an academic time that you have with a specialist in the subject. I hope I've answered all my questions. Colleen, maybe you can add towards the schedule per day for a student so that they can understand a little bit more if I've missed something.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Everybody should always remember that the reason why you choose to do home education, or usually the reason is that you would like to have a little bit more freedom. You would like to fit the school within your lifestyle and not your lifestyle fit the school. And that's why we set out to put a blueprint down. In other words, we put the outside of the frame down, but you have to color the picture. You have to paint the picture yourself. So there are things that are fixed. For instance, depending on the product that you use, of course, there are set times that you've got to submit a task or write an exam. Or submit your orals, but you are free to put the program or to structure the program in a day around what fits within your lifestyle. If you're morning people, then of course you're going to use the morning sessions. If you're afternoon people, you're going to do it in the afternoon, depending on, am I a working mom? Do I need crucial morning time to do the job that I'm supposed to do? And then fit the education of my children around the rest of my day. That's something that you can fit. And as Adele said, the only fixed things that you actually need to look for is the virtual classes that we offer, which ties in with some of the other questions that I'd like to answer, if I may. For instance, and I think Gerda will back me up on this one, are there classes for grade R's? No, sir, there are, or I'm not sure who asked the question. There are no scheduled virtual classes for your grade R kids. And I think, Gerda, you're going to maybe want to elaborate, why do we not have virtual classes for grade R, grade 1, and grade 2, and grade 3?
Yes, I will gladly do that. Junior school learners need an educator. They need a somebody, a body next to them. It's very difficult to do online teaching with the little ones. I regularly sit and watch the learners while we have an online class, and even the grade sevens, you lose them along the way because it's a screen. And when I forget to disable the chat, it's just a little bit a little bit into the lesson, then you'll see they chat with one another. So yeah, they need a body next to them. So what the aim is for grade R to 7 is to assist the parent in assisting the child. So we have a few online lessons for grade 4 to 7 in the languages and maths, and there we also target the topics that might be a problem. And we also have pre-recorded classes for maths. And what we found is that the parent is actually watching these lessons and assisting the learner and explaining and teaching his kid at home. So our aim is to assist the parent to assist the learner. For grade 1 to 3, we only have on Monday mornings 30-minute Afrikaans English sessions separately, in which they do activities like telling the news, counting, saying the days of the week and the months. So it's basically a social learning event on a Monday morning for grade R to 3s. So yeah, we have a few lessons for grade 4 to, no, not a few, we have regular lessons, but not as regular as the high school. And it's just because primary school learners need that somebody next to them.
Thank you, Gerda, for that. Let's continue with a few other things. Riaz, you've asked, can you perhaps show us a weekly timetable to illustrate it? Riaz, with great pleasure. I'm going to quickly share my screen again so that you are able to see. And I'll do it in this way. Riaz, you should now be able to see the very same screen that I showed a little while ago, where we actually look at a grade 10 profile just as an example. And I'd like to show you where the classes are. If I go onto classes and I look at the timetables for weekly classes, that's exactly where I will find that. So this is the grade 10 weekly planner. Let's see what we can see there. And I hope I'm opening the correct link.
Colleen, sorry, the images. Oh, there we go. Now we
There
can.
we go. Riaz, this is our weekly timetable. Oh, Adele is shaking her head. Why are you shaking your head, Adele?
We can't see the screen that you've shared. It just
We
disappeared
can't
again.
see the screen. I'm so sorry. Let's see if I can do the proper one. Is that the better one? Can you see that one? Better. Okay, cool. If Adele does this, I know I'm in the green again. All right, that's our weekly timetable, and this specifically, as you can see, is for grade 10, but the principle remains the same. You're able then to see exactly what is being done On Monday at 8 o'clock, that would have been accounting. Of course, this was on the first term. I just took that as an example. You would have had agricultural science from 12 o'clock, life sciences 12 o'clock on Thursday, and those were just highlighting the mathematics. All right, so that's the weekly timetable. As you can see, Riaz, this is all available on your profile. There you can see, I've seen multiple questions. Are the virtual classes compulsory? Now, of course, they're not compulsory, but they are advisable that you do watch those. What's nice about watching a live class, you can actually, the learner can ask in the chat a quick question. Ma'am, I don't understand that, or can you quickly repeat that, or I didn't catch the term in Afrikaans or in English, or can you just please explain, whatever the case is. They can ask in the chat a question and get a direct answer. However, we record all of these classes, and that's where you'll find the recordings. And as you can see, all the recordings are stored. So if you are not able to view them right virtually live on that particular day, you can go back and you can actually view them. And that's the purpose of the recording. So it's there for your convenience. Right, let's see if there are other questions that I saw. Riaz, I've answered about the timetables. I think I marked a few other ones. Sarah, grade 10, I think you would have seen on the profile, the video recordings as well, Sarah, but I think you had a different question, and that was regarding what do we do with the differences between the prescribed books, novels that the kids are supposed to read, and where that differs with the Department of Education. There's good and there's bad about that. If you're talking about grade 12, that becomes quite crucial because at this late point in the year, they need to have read a few books, and they might be different to what the GDE has wanted them to read up to now. What we encourage learners to do is, if you go onto Brainline and you look at the novels that they are supposed to read now, you will find we also ask the grade 12s to read between 7 and 10 additional books. Now, the good part about that is you can use the books that you've read on the GDE profile, in other words, the Gauteng schools, as those extra reading matter. So you wouldn't have wasted your time. So that's a good thing. What's also nice about the IB curriculum in the languages, we've got what we call the fourth genre, and that's film studies. That's extremely interesting to do, and you can really get some marks together in the fourth genre, and it's quite enjoyable marks to get together. So do not be discouraged by it. Yes, it's a bit different, but you would not have wasted your time having read the GDE prescribed books. It is part of what you're required to do with us anyway. So be encouraged by that. Let's see if there are more. Bronwyn says, could you tell me where to find the catch-up schedule, Bronwyn? I think you would have seen all of the recordings. Yes, Adele, I'm going to put you in as well. You've got a lot to say there as well. You would have seen all the video recordings. So, Bronwyn, if you join us right now, please remember, we don't just give you from term 3 up to the rest of the year. We give you from the very first day. So you are able to go back into term 1 and revise as and how you want. Adele, over to you.
Yes, I can just maybe add what the process is. So if your student, if the student is in grade 12, the teacher will contact the student with regards to an academic plan that we've set for you to help you catch up on work. So what we normally recommend is that you start with cycle 1 and check what work you have not done at your previous school. So you take the work schedule, you take the textbook next to that, and then tick off which ones you have not done. Those that you have done, you just revise for the prelim exam and the final exams. Those that you have not done, you go back to Brainline, check the recordings of cycle 1 and 2, and then go through the work in the textbook as well as the online classes and see if you can master the content. If you're not able to master the content, you are free to contact the teacher so that she can help and assist you further with resources. You'll find that especially for our mathematics and science department, we are very well prepared for catch-up plans for the grade 12s and the other subjects as well, but we have numerous resources on the science and math subject pages that can assist learners who enroll late. So those resources are there to guide you and to help you in content that you may have missed. So that's the first step. The second step is the teacher will contact you after we've received notification of your enrollment, and she will contact you with a plan on how to catch up. Please don't stress about any assessments on grade 12 level that you have missed. We will be in contact with you as soon as we've gathered all portfolio work from your previous school and set according to the new SBA rules and the SAG documents how to help you catch up all those holes that you have in your marks. With regards to grade 8 up to 11, the same principle will hold. The teacher will contact you when you are enrolled late. She will or he will give you a plan onto how to catch up onto work. Please remember, it's the responsibility of the student to go onto the website, check onto the schedule with the textbook and see what work you have missed. Those that you've missed, you must catch up on your own time during this academic recess we have now. And the problem areas that you identify, you must contact the teacher and ask for assistance. The teacher can guide you to where resources are that may help you, or if very, 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 very big problem areas, you can ask the teacher to please repeat that in a revision lesson. So it's the responsibility of the student to catch up on those work. And as Colleen said, all the recordings are available from the start of the year. So you have all those applicable recordings to go back to and refer back to when you look at them. So I think that covers the schedule. And someone else also asked where you can find the schedule. You must please contact the teacher if she has not contacted you yet to ask for assistance on how to catch up on work. But with regards to assessments, I'd like students not to stress about that. We are going to help you. So what you need to focus on is to prepare for your assessments that's coming, like the final examination, to see that you've covered all the contents. Thanks, Colleen.
Adele, sorry, I think if you can share maybe when the calendar, there's a lot of questions around the online class schedule. For cycle 3, when will they be able to see it under the classes banner on Brain Online?
The teachers are busy uploading the schedules. They've received it on Monday morning very early or on Sunday evening. Those that have not received it yet, they have all received it. So the schedules will be up. The timetables for the classes will be up by the end of this week for everybody. I think it's only, Rosie, the mathematics that's not up yet, but I think all the rest of the subjects must be up by tomorrow. So tomorrow is our audit.
Okay, great, thank you. Gerda, there were a few that I've sent to you that they've asked. I don't know whether you've answered that on the chat forum yet. But the one was regards to the pre-primary online classes scheduled between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. A question was there around what time are the classes scheduled? And then they're also asking for the timetables for these classes. So if you can just give an insight into where they can find that.
Okay, I have answered one or two, but let me quickly say the online classes for the third term starting in July will only be posted during the first week of July. We are still finalizing the dates. So there won't be classes during the first week for grade 4 to 7. That's the week in which we will be posting the dates. And yes, the classes will be between 8 and 1 in the mornings. And then I saw something about catching up. Let me just...
yes, for grade 6 and 9.
Yeah, I will. For grade 6, you don't have to catch up anything. You don't have to redo anything. If you start in cycle 3, that's where you jump in and start submitting tasks and tests. So no need to catch up cycle 1 and 2 tests, because when you enroll, you will be able to see all the previous tasks, tests, and memos, but no need to catch up. Don't worry about that. It might be a good idea just to go through the maths topics from the beginning of the year to ensure that the learner has done everything, but no catching up is necessary for grade 6. Adele will be able to shed some more light about grade 9 maybe.
All right, so can I start at the top? I've picked a few nice questions for myself. Narissa asked at the top, please can you explain the IB part? Narissa, the IB is the exam board. They are the people who issue, set up, mark, and eventually are responsible for the results of the grade 12s at the end. And they also ensure that the grade 12 can get their national senior certificate, and we're very proud to be part of them. There are only 3 exam boards currently in South Africa: the provincial ones, the IB or Independent Examination Board, Sakai, and all of these have to answer to an entity called Umalusi, and Umalusi is the accreditation body. I hope I answered that one. All right, so how do we see? Riaz said, how will the child be assessed for oral or mondeling? Riaz, you will get on your download file where I showed you previously on the grade 10, you will get the instructions. Say for instance, it is a unprepared reading piece. Then the learner is asked to audibly record as an MP3 file, or it could be as a video recording, because we need to see who actually does the oral, then record himself or herself. And now immediately you're going to ask me, how do I do that? Well, we've got this lovely little device. My virtual background doesn't allow me to show you, called a cell phone. So you can use that, and then we give you a little piece of software where you can actually record yourself and then convert that to a file that we can use. Or you can use a laptop the same way that I'm using at the moment and use the internal audio recording of your laptop any which way that you feel comfortable with. And that is a file that you're going to upload to us the way that I showed you previously. Right, and then Chantal says, I am a first-time homeschool mom. Where can I go for ideas and schedules and so forth? Chantal, you will find the schedules and the blueprint of how to do what on our system on brainonline.com if you use the CAPS aligned or the IB aligned curriculum as a product. In other words, we tell you, we give you these schedules, we give you the blueprint of what to do. On ideas where to go, Chantal, the internet has got wonderful ideas. But you can even contact us and say, listen, I've got a grade R students, I'm not sure what to do here or there, and then Khada will reply with lovely ideas for you as well, depending on what you need to know, and we can direct you elsewhere. But the internet has got wonderful ideas on what to do, when and where, but give us a call. We might just be able to help you on different things. Shahid, you asked, what is your teaching methodology that you use in relation to the current CAPS training? Shahid, can we ask you to please audibly come up and ask that question with a little bit more detail? What is it exactly that you'd like to know? Rosie, can we enable Shahid to speak to us, please?
Okay, let me just find him on the attendees.
Whilst we're enabling Shahid, I'm going to go on to Sylvester. Sylvester says you perhaps have device deals, printers and laptops at used rates. Sylvester, if we had those deals, we're going to use them first before we're going to pass them on to you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Unfortunately, we don't have these deals. But I must tell you that the best deals we usually find with Incredible Connection, but be careful what you buy. Look at the guarantees. The best data deals we have found with Rain. I'm not promoting them and I'm not getting anything from them, but be careful again with Rain coverage. That's the best I can give you. Shahid, I see you there. Please explain to us better in more detail what you mean.
Hi, thanks, Colleen. Geez, I sent through so many questions. The last one was, you're referring to the last question, isn't it?
Yes, you asked, what is your teaching methodology that you use in relation to the current CAPS training?
CAPS. Yeah. I just wanted to look. I've been on the website and I've trolled it and looked and trying to gather as much information, even with Brayton. I just wanted to find out, insofar as your curriculum is, is CAPS aligned in a sense that we follow, because I think many of us wanting now to take our kids out of school and do homeschooling. So they would obviously, the assumption is they would just automatically fit into your program and follow the CAPS program, so that when they do want to go back to formal school, they just simply fit in with, you know, nothing lost really.
You are exactly right. All of us in South Africa follow, or most of us in South Africa follow the CAPS curriculum. In other words, if you want to refer to the revised national curriculum statement, just this morning I was browsing, and I think the Western Cape has got a very good summary of, if you type in, say for instance, the grade that you want, and next to it you write revised national curriculum statement, it seems that the Western Cape's online site is quite wakey, and you'll be able to find a lot of information there. But yes, all of the schools, the normal public schools, and many of the independent schools also follow the CAPS curriculum. So yes, you'll be able to seamlessly move from the school that you are currently at, or supposed to be at rather, back into our system, or from us back into the school. I hope that answers your questions, and thank you so much, Shahid.
Thank you. Thank you.
Most welcome. Right, Rosie, over back to you. It seems that we have answered most of the questions. Adele, is there anything else that worries you that you'd like to ask or tell our new parents that you know that you think that they should know about?
I'd like to just add onto a question that came up, but I've answered it in writing, but I'd just like to add onto that. The question was why we do not have online classes in each subject every day. Okay, so now according to the curriculum, a student is supposed to have a certain amount of time per subject per week. If we look at normal mortar and brick schools, they normally have a 25-minute period in which the teacher might have a 20-minute academic time with that kid if the discipline allows it. So with us, we can't do a normal 20-minute per day according to our timetable because of limited resources. So what we've done is we have grouped them together. So if you look at the curriculum requirements, for example, for mathematics, students need to have at least a 25-minute contact session once a day with a teacher, mathematics teacher. So what we've done is we've made 3 45-minute mathematics sessions per week, which gets you to the same result. So the contact sessions that we have is equal in length to what a mortar and brick school has. What makes us different is that we have set times and we are not influenced with sport activities, social activities, cultural activities, etc., etc. Our classes go on as normal, and if a student misses them, they can just watch the recording afterwards. So all our classes are 45 minutes long, which is ample time and contact session with a qualified teacher. Thanks, Colleen.
Thanks, Adele. Anything, Gerda, that you would like to say to anxious young moms in grade R up until grade 7?
If they wish to enroll, and they do enroll, and when they start and they feel overwhelmed, that's a natural, normal feeling. They shouldn't panic. It's something new to get used to, but I received such a lot of testimonials about parents telling me the quality time that they have with their children. They could spot the problem areas. They could give more attention to the problem areas, and their kids are flourishing. So be patient with yourself, be patient with your child. It really gets better, and feeling overwhelmed is a very natural feeling initially.
Thanks, Gerda. I cannot agree more. Gia says, hi, is there anything we need to do from our side to prepare for cycle 3, day 1? Gia, no. The only thing you can do is prepare yourself for a wonderful adventure. If your children are a little bit older, then the adventure is going to be a busy one. If your children are younger, you're going to be the busy one. So the best you can do if you've got younger children is get some nice stationery if you want to get that. And that's all you need to do. Everything you need will be on Brain Online or on the e-reader as the study material. You don't need anything extra but your laptop or your desktop, a good printer and a scanner, and then you're sorted. if you want to, you can go work ahead and go back into term 1 and 2. But at this point in time, I think you need a bit of a rest. So take a few days, take some time out, spend it with your family, and just enjoy the time before term 3. Renita asks, many homeschool institutions allow the students to complete 2 years in one. Does this apply to Brainline as well? Renita, the only 2 grades that we combine formally is our grade 10 and grade 11 if the learner is over the age of 18. In other words, a young adult or even an older adult, where we allow them to do grade 10 and grade 11 in 1 year, and we call that compact. Renita, let's talk about the other grades. We have found, yes, in theory, you can do that. It's possible, but we find practically that learners cognitively, with the development of their young brains, they remain in the year that they are supposed to be in grade 6 or grade 7, especially with regard to mathematics and with regard to the language. But in theory, Renita, yes, that is possible. Shahid says, are there any testimonials from parents in the Western Cape for us to feel a sense of comfort? Shahid, I think if you go back on our Facebook page, I think you'll find quite a few testimonials on our Facebook page, especially because, of course, we need to ask permission from parents for their details to be published. So on our Facebook, I think is the best page to go to find those testimonials. I think that's about it from our side. We have had a wonderful visit with you. Thank you to Adele. Thank you to Gerda for their presence and answering questions. And I wish all our parents only the best. We will get through this, and in the end, we're going to look back and say, you know what? That was good. We made it, and we are at the other end. And we wish you well, and we greet you and hope to see you very soon on one of our next Ask Brainline sessions. So I'm going to say goodbye and stay safe.